Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Today is January 18th, 2023, and the news is brought to you and sponsored by Analogue Spotlight, a group of photographic retailers and manufacturers who have joined together to support analog photographic media and help keep analog photography thriving worldwide. Those brands are Cameradactyl, Kosmo Foto, Chroma Cameras, Reveni Labs, RealitySoSubtle, Intrepid Cameras, Pixl-ltr, Brooklyn Film Camera, ONDU cameras, standard cameras, 20th century cameras, Pictoriographica, Analogue Wonderland, Cinestill, large format camera store, Carmencita Film Lab, RH Designs, Imago, and Alvandi cameras. So thanks to the sponsors, we're here live. You might have noticed there's a slight change in the set. We are moving studios. Yes, I am wearing overalls with Crocs and a suit on top, and it's steaming hot. But there'll be some improvements to the studio. Basically, it's quite empty, so there might be a bit of echo. But yeah, let's get into the news. First of all, we have the new Lomography reusable camera loaded with turquoise film. As you know, Lomography has been making these reusable, what I like to call reusable disposable, because they're kind of like that plastic lens single-use camera, but turned into reusable cameras, which is good. And Lomography has been giving them their Lomography touch, which means it has color flashes, like color gels in the flash. It has the option to reload, and in this case, it is preloaded with turquoise, which is kind of like a special effect color negative film, where the reproduction of colors is completely like almost like negative film shot as positive film. Is kind of weird, but some people like it. It's available for €24.90 or dollars, depending where you are in the world. Probably some other currency. Then we have the new announced Voigtlander 75 f1.9 lens for Leica M mount. This comes in two flavors: multi-coated, single-coated. You know, Lomography, sorry. Voigtlander has been making lenses in this single-coated, multi-coated versions for quite a while, between 35mm and 40mm lenses. The 75mm lens now is f1.9. It is interesting because there's been a 75 f1.5. So why making a 1.9 when you have a 1.5 and then make two versions, which is doubling the SQs? No idea. But it is currently being announced. There is no price, which is an interesting announcement with no price. But it should be available quite soon. So for those that enjoy 75 on a Leica M, which I don't think you get, maybe frame lens in some of them, but not many. But yeah, interesting to see. If you're curious, the multi-coating is usually for modern films or modern like color film and digital, and the single coating usually gives that the older kind of rendering of like older lenses, like Barnack lenses, such. But yeah, then we have Funleader with a lens holder for Leica M mount. I have seen this product made by someone else in the past, but I cannot remember who. Basically is in your Leica M camera, on the bottom base plate, you screw on this like half like base plate that has like a bayonet M mount under, which means you end up with a lens hanging from the bottom, which you hold if you want to, and then you can have a lens on the body. So you can kind of like swap, like hot swap if you want to say. That's actually not the term, but you know what I mean. You can swap quite fast. One thing I am slightly concerned is the price is $39 US, and if you are going to be hanging some Leica lens, be it Leica branded, Voigtlander branded, or any other brand, usually they're a couple hundred, if not thousands of euros hanging from there. I don't know how you put the camera on, like a table, or if you want to reload or anything like that. It seems kind of problematic, but if you're one of those that doesn't think it's a bad idea, you can get it for $39. It is affordable, that's for sure. Then we have Tetenal with the C41 tablet. It is not yet fully announced as far as I can tell, but it is now available as a PDF. So from the PDF, one can get that there's going to be 8 tablets inside it, and it's going to be like the C41, color developer, bleach, fix, all that stuff. Probably Blix. Tetenal's being a fan of mixing bleach and fix into one. And it's going to be 8 tablets, which give you each one 150 milliliter of usable chemicals, which they transfer to being like 1 roll of film. So 8 rolls of film with the tablets. Whenever they're properly announced, we will know the price point and availability. But for now, you get the PDF, which I'll link below. Then we start with the price increases. As we all know, let's start with a bit of an information. If you are anywhere in the world and have been awake for the last 3 to 4 years, you have noticed the prices of everything have gone through the roof. Shipping has gone through the roof. Containers, then transport has gone through the roof, kind of goes with shipping. Food, any necessity basically has gone through the roof. Electricity, don't even get me started. Everything has gone up. Well, it seems Foma, the film manufacturer from the Czech Republic, has increased their prices. People are saying around 7 to 8%, which seems reasonable with inflation. I think Finland is where I'm based. It's around 7 to 8 last year, 2022. But Foma has gone up. And then we get into the Kodak price increase. With the Kodak price increase, first of all, I will say clickbait is a thing. Newspapers, online, and videos and stuff live off getting more clicks. So if Kodak in some random price increase says something's going 200% up, imagine their, disposable camera goes 200% up for whatever plastic reason in China is getting through the roof. They will announce a 200% in the articles because that takes you to read it and gives you the ads and gives you all the stuff, and people make money with those ads. That is why, for example, I have sponsors on this news and I have Patreons on the news. So it helps to basically maybe mitigate having to jump onto clickbaity stuff. But having said that, Kodak is also a mess. We do know that there's Eastman Rochester, Eastman Kodak, that is the one based in New York that has been making the film since forever. And then we have Kodak Alaris, which has been the distributor for still photography, basically like 35 mil, 120 mil, not 120 mil, 120 film, medium format, 4x5, 8x10 and such. So Alaris does price increases and Kodak does price increases, which is kind of weird. We have had the article from Cosmo Foto that mentions there's a 17% increase mentioned by Alaris, and this is the median value. Some things will go up 30, some things will go up 10, maybe something doesn't go up at all, maybe something does go up 200%. But the median percentage is 17%. And then we have an article from some source in Japan saying that in Japan, starting January 16th, which is 2 days ago, they will have a 20 to 40% increase in Kodak products. We do know that Japan usually moves in a different way than the rest of the photography market, meaning that they maybe didn't have a price increase 6 months ago like others did. I'm not saying exactly 6 months ago, but they are having price increases. So this is not it doesn't mean that 40% is coming to Europe or the US or whatever. We still don't know for a fact what is exactly the percentage. It is more than inflation, but we know that Kodak sources multiple things from multiple places. Maybe there's a reason for that, but it's not a nice thing to hear. Obviously, we all want cheaper film, but we still want film. So any film is better than no film. Let's leave it there. But as long as I have more information, I will try to keep you guys posted. But the brief story is 17% Alaris seems to be Europe and maybe the rest of the world. As an average, Japan, 20 to 40%. US, other markets, we don't know. And yes, Kodak, Alaris, and Eastman Kodak, it's all a bit of a mess. Then we have the Rezivot Funleader cutter. So I mentioned last week Rezivot was working on a secret project that they hinted. I saw it immediately. I referenced it to a Tokyo camera style leader, and Rezivot mentioned, they wrote me the next morning, hey, cool that you saw it in the news. Here are pictures. And they actually sent me a picture and a video, which I'm putting in here. So it's pretty cool. If you want to order it, it's still not available, but hopefully it'll be soon. Now we go with a processor machine. We have Dev.A by Adele in Italy upgrading or updating their machine. So they came out with a Diva, which I guess is Diva or Dev.A, I don't know how to say it, which is a machine that is kind of like a self-containing developing machine. It can do C41, E6, black and white, sucks the chemistry, pumps it into a tank, agitates it and rotates it, and then pumps it out and so on. Cool machine, kind of like a Jobo ATL 1500, kind of size. Well, first they started with magnetic steering, which I found kind of weird because, you know, don't reinvent the wheel. Jobo did it with like a cock and pinion, and it worked. But they seem to have realized that's the way to go. So they have upgraded their machine to now be I think rack and pinion. I don't know. I know Spanish way to say it. But basically now there's teeth going and moving the rotation of the tank. The tanks have to be updated. The machine has to be updated. One thing, if you are early adopter, you will have to send the machine to them to upgrade. It is possible. But also, they have announced the internal reels to be now compatible with some new internal reels to be available for 4x5, 5x7, 8x10 sheet film. This is where it gets interesting. But to me, I've been a big fan of the Jobo ATL machines and CPP3 machines because they have the expert tanks that can do 8x10, can do 5 sheets at a time with like a liter, which is amazing. But nothing of the new stuff was coming out with 8x10, you know, possibilities, which is what I like to shoot. So this is now available. One thing to note, because I've spoken to a few people that own the Diva machine, is that Diva or Adele is not being the best at customer service, spare parts, availability, letting them know, and so on and so on. So be careful of what you buy. It's an expensive machine. Early adopters sometimes suffer. They now have to change the machine, which would mean shipping it to Italy, getting it changed and shipping it back. If there's an upgrade, there's customs, you know, stuff like that. But it's very cool if this machine starts working better, starts getting better support, and it starts doing, like I say, sheet film with a proper non-magnetic agitation. So cool news. Then we have our favorite topic, Orwell film. So Orwell seems to now have also released, I won't say announced, released a Orwell NC400, a 400 speed color negative film. It says limited edition, says made by Innovascope, but the funny thing is the NC500, which is the other color negative film that was available by them and they're being slowly drop shipping, not shipping, like shipping in little droplets because it's very small amounts of batches that they're making, was also 400 speed. The one I actually bought in Hamburg was a 400 speed film that said NC500. So now I'm very confused. Do they have two 400 speed films? Is NC500 now 500 and it was 400 at the beginning? Is what's happening? Also, like I said, there's no announcement. All the information I've been able to find is from Freestyle Photo in California, who actually has it in stock, or now they're out of stock, and is NC400 and NC500. Once again, Orwell with the weird communications and the weird information and the weird announcements and so on. I will be a good Samaritan and say it's probably because they're a small operation and they're overloaded, but it still is something I think they should work on. And I would like to see, as someone that does the news and a film consumer and as a film user, I like to see information to be as transparent as possible and announcements done in a, orderly fashion. Then they also have shown the differences on a YouTube video. So they have a YouTube channel, I link below, where they show a bunch of cinema stock, so 60 mils, 35 mil, but they don't say the stock till the end. So you'll have to kind of back and forth. They're going to have the best retention on that video to see which the film stock looks like if it's more. But the 400 seems to be more color accurate with a bit of a punch and more vibrant. So you can take it as is. Then we have news from Mint cameras. As you know, Mint Camera announced that they were working on a 35mm camera. They made a nice post talking about the shutter and the parts that compose the first prototype. And it is not the official first prototype, but it's the one that they, are calling prototype 1. And it's really cool because I've always mentioned that Mint kind of re-engineered a shutter, and all they needed was like a 35mm lens, and they could do a camera with advanced. They can even do medium format. Their RF70 and the square one, whatever it is called, SF, I don't know what it's called, 60, actually are medium format lenses. If you think they're shooting Instax wide, Instax square, which is like a 6x6 or a 6x7 negative, 6x9 or something like that. So very cool news. There is obviously Pentax and Ricoh that said they were making, but someone like Mint, we need them. We need more than one player. We need more than a premium manufacturer. We need someone that does things also differently. And Mint has said that it should be a tenth of the price of a Leica M6. So let's say 500, 600 US dollars, which I think is decent for, you know, a 35mm camera. But that's pretty cool. I'll leave the link below. You have to put your email. You can read the blog post. But that has been the news for this week. As always, thank you for watching. If you want to send me any information, you can send me an email to the email below. And thanks to the sponsors for sponsoring the show. And thanks for you guys for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.